What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about MATIC and Chainlink today. At the request of for MATIC, we're talking about it for Darpit Shah, and Link for Papa Bear Z. We're talking about that for you two. I meant to talk about it yesterday, you guys. I did not have enough time, unfortunately, but I feel like these coins, they're top tier projects. We haven't looked at them in a while, at least in depth, so I feel like they're owed a little bit of a special video. So that's what today's for. Looking at this, very bullish on the weekly RSI. Absolutely, right now it could stand that we go lower. MATIC is going down a little bit. It's taking a little breaky poo. We've had a bearish engulfing candle followed up with some more bearish candles, and that's okay, man. Right now we're finding support around previous resistance zones. We could go lower. It wouldn't surprise me if we did go lower, but let's look at those targets. Let's see where we're going to go. I am going to pause the music now. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and let's do this, man. So let's see. Relative to this high to this low here, which, by the way, this is an Adam and Eve bottom right here, V and U. That is an absolute Adam and Eve bottom. And I've been noticing this, man. But before this cycle, I would say this is the point that you break right here, the nipple itself. If you were to break out of that and then come back in, it's a busted pattern. But a lot of cryptos I've noticed, they've actually been consolidating literally right at the closing point of these Adam and Eve patterns. So it's different than how I learned it and how I've applied it personally, but it's been working out, right? You consolidated above the breakout point and definitely had a positive move continuing onward. I wonder even actually if we take the low maybe to there, where's the measure move? The measure move would be pretty damn close to that high, man. Pretty damn close. Anyways, where you're at now, you found resistance at the 786, closed right at it, opened right at it, moved down since. You last week closed just below the 618. Came back up to the top of this golden ratio zone, and you're now coming down. I bet you do move down to your 0.5, which is at about, for MATIC, that's at about 89 cents. You could even go all the way back to your 382. That's at 77 cents. You're at 99 cents now, so I'm talking about a 10 to a 22 cent drop. Now, I would think that this line here, the yellow line, does not happen. I would think that 77 cent area does not happen. It's actually technically like 78 cents. It's pretty close to 78. I would think it doesn't happen. But if it does, if you go down there, just know you're still having a higher low. You're finding support in a key area, and it would actually look fine. I just personally don't think that it's going to happen. This 0.5 to me looks a bit more on par with your current trajectory that you have, right? Oh, that was a very non-straight line, something like that. It looks a bit more on par in my opinion. And going from your 786 to your 0.5, it's not as common of a maneuver. You don't normally go to your 786. You don't normally find support on your 0.5. But being that normally you would look for your 618 to reject, and then you'd go back to your 382, which you actually kind of did that exact thing. Now that you're at your 786, I'm looking for that next step up. I'm looking for that stair-stepping kind of pattern in the fib. So you probably do move down to about 89 cents. Let's look at the daily. Let's see how that looks. Definitely convinced you want to go lower, man. That's a nice rejection off of your 50 area on the RSI. Couldn't get below it, or couldn't get above it. That's okay. Your RSI does look bearish, and I think you're not going to see the end of it until you at least get down to this oversold zone, if not into it. You might bounce right off it, or you might even come into it and then find your low down there. Just because you get oversold does not mean it's over. Okay, you could get a reaction where you find a move up, and then you come back down, you find a higher low in the RSI, but really it's a lower low in price. So don't get too excited at the first glance of the oversold zone. But with that being said, you could get right into it and then bounce right out of it too. You never know. We're not going to know until we see it. I'm saying this so that if either happens, you don't have this idea in your head that this is exactly how it has to look. It's going to get into the oversold zone and then it has to go. Otherwise, it's a dead project. No, if it gets in the oversold zone at all, it's a dead project. No, nothing like that. It can, it can't. We'll see when we get there. But I'm more saying that so that if something happens that you might not initially expect, just so that it calms the nerves. It lets you know, hey, it's still fine. It's still fine. Low to high here, the 1272 is at about 86.5 cents. The 1618 is at 81 cents. What was I'm already forgetting, man. What was the price that we're looking at? See, high to low here, 89 cents. Okay, so maybe we do go a little bit below 89 cents actually. I mean, it is possible. We have seen it a few times where you reach for that 1272 and you just don't quite get to it. Your 1886 is with that 382. A little bit of convergence there. Or what's coinciding? I don't know what word to use. There's some word, starts with a C. I can't think of it. Whatever. Correspondence. Based off this local fib, I would think that you do actually see 86.5 cents. You could go to 81 cents, but that kind of to me just doesn't make as much sense other than the fact it's the golden ratio itself. But who knows? We'll see when we get there. Really, what I would base it off of, assuming, looking at the fibs or at the RSI, what you're doing, I would really wait for this oversold zone to come into play. Once you see that, you'll probably have, if you're oversold, as you get down here, you'll probably know that if you go lower, it's not going to be by much, and you'll have that lower low with the higher low in your RSI, and then you'll probably have a move up. If I don't know. I would assume down there you probably would be oversold, so I just don't see an area where that wouldn't be. But as far as like the exact price goes, I would just wait to see how you look when you're oversold. Anyways, that's MATIC for the time being. If that wasn't confusing enough, don't worry, I've got more. It does look like it wants to go down, but inevitably I think this thing has a bright future in store for it. A bright future indeed. High to low here, I would assume, look at that all the way down, yeah. You probably do move up to about $5 to $11.50. If we look at MATIC on CoinGecko here to get its market cap, Polygon. I say MATIC, it's Polygon. Let's call it 9 billion. Just to round it, we'll call it 9 billion. Something like that would be essentially a little bit more than a $45 billion market cap. Something like that would be it'd be right around $100 billion actually. So anything and everything in between here is absolutely fair game. MATIC could even go higher. It very well could. As crazy as it sounds, it could go all the way up to $21. It really could. It's a multi-$100 billion market cap. That's essentially right around $200 billion. But MATIC, I think, is worthy of that kind of market cap. I think Polygon is worthy of that kind of market cap. So really, it's a very big range. I understand that it is, but you guys, you've got some higher prices to look forward to. You're at 98 cents now, potentially going down to around 80 cents, 90 cents, somewhere around there. And it could go up to $5.35, $11.56, $21. Who knows? Somewhere in between. These are just lines. They're not requirements. You could literally go right up to this line, and then that's your cycle high, and that's it. But maybe you go in between, and something like that. Maybe you go a little bit above. Who knows where it's going to go? They're not requirements. They're not written in stone. They're not prophecies. They're not brick walls. You can go through them. You don't have to stop directly at them. They're just ideas in your head, right? And based off of the all-time high that you have to your most recent cycle low, that to me would make sense as far as where you would top off at, and by market cap valuation too. I personally don't think that you're going to stop here at $5 billion or at $5.35. I would think that you go higher, but if we're talking about this thing going down to let's just say 86 cents, sure. That'd be a 6x potentially by the end of the cycle, an 8x, 8.6x, 13x at the kind of the maximum expected range. We might get surprised with a 23, 24, 25x on MATIC throughout the cycle from this next low that's coming in. You guys, on a coin like MATIC, I really, on Polygon, I think that that's a pretty safe bet. I don't think it's going to go down. I think that this thing definitely has more growing to do. But enough about that. I think I beat the hell out of this thing. Let's move on to the next topic. Let's move on to Link. So Link here, Link USD, Chainlink. Again, for MATIC, going down in the short-term time frames, the medium-term time frames, inevitably going to go back up. Link also looking like it wants to go down. You were overbought for a good bit, man. You have a very, very beautiful weekly RSI. Very nice established uptrend. You have broken out of this line before and came back in, whatever. For the most part, you've kind of been in this parallel channel going up. That might not be the most beautifully drawn line, but something like that, right, going up. It looks like you're breaking out of it now, but that doesn't make me too scared. You did get overbought. You went all the way up to your 88 zone. You've now found lower highs. You're probably going to find lower lows, and that will likely establish that you take a momentary break. You're going to consolidate. I wouldn't be surprised if Chainlink went down to about $13.16. Maybe it holds support around $16. You're at $18.80 now. You already tipped that area, but you had a very bullish looking week here, like a dragonfly doji. Now you're matched with the gravestone doji. Let's see how the next day and 21 hours closes, but I have a feeling you're going to go lower. This is, what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? It's uncertainty. Seeing candles like this back to back, it's uncertainty, and we're near a topping point. I would think you want to go down, probably find some people who want to buy, find that certainty you're looking for to propel you higher. We take this high to low here. You closed right at your golden ratio, the 1618, and you've since pulled back to your 786, found support there, and now you've found resistance on your 1414. This is deconstructive behavior, not productive at all. It's productive to the downside. The next target that I would expect likely would be the 618, which is all the way down at about 1550, and that is in the midst of this range. You could go all the way down here. That is possible. It's not necessarily ideal, but a little bit of a longer phase of consolidation is kind of what I would expect right now. Longer than this, right? Definitely longer than what you've got going so far. So let's actually measure that. You consolidated for 12 bars, right? Now you've essentially been consolidating for 7 bars. So 12 bars would mean at the end of April. So it will probably be sometime in May, if not June, before you see prices higher than you are now. So you're going to consolidate for a while, and that's okay. You've had a hell of a run up, man. You broke out, consolidated, moved up, didn't have any volume to back it up, right? This was kind of a weak attempt to go higher, and there's no follow through. So you're gonna come back, refuel in this area, and then you'll move up. That's as simple as that. It'll probably inevitably actually look just like a head and shoulders pattern, right? You've got your left shoulder, you've got your head, you're gonna have your right shoulder there, down in this area, right? And that might scare people to think that it's going to go lower, but head and shoulders patterns can break out to the upside, and who knows? Anything can happen, man. Maybe it does break down, and that's it for Link. Maybe that is it, but I don't think so. I think Link has a bright future as well. I think it has higher to go. There's no way that you accumulated this long, you had this kind of breakout, and that's it. There's no way. I don't believe it. I refuse to believe that. High to low, 618 resistance on your first attempt, classic. You know what else is classic with that? Either finding support on your 0.5 to go higher, which technically right now you do have, or also more commonly to go back to your 382, which is all the way down at 1277. So I'd say really, guys, at the end of the day, between 1277, 1677, somewhere between there, somewhere in this range here, is where you're going to go. You'll find support, and then you'll work your way up. Probably either in May or in June, you'll start to work your way back up again. That's my genuine opinion. So I don't know if I have anything else that I want to add, so we're probably going to end it there. I'm turning the music on to let you guys know that is probably it for the time being. If we're looking at this, yeah, on the daily time frame here, you had a little bounce off the 123, a very nice reaction, but it only promoted a lower high. Let's look at the ribbon real quick. We've been pulling that out lately, so let's do it. Oh yeah. Look at that, guys. That's not a friendly look, is it? It could be. See, this was supposed to be really good. This was supposed to be enticing, but you didn't follow through. You didn't get volume. This is starting to look like a cross. You get back below this ribbon, you're probably going to see a cross, and then again that'll imply that you're going to see some consolidation. Yeah, and just move back to your weekly ribbon. Whatever, that's okay. Looking at the 4-hour. 4-hour is postured up, but yeah, you're looking like you're rejecting. You're definitely looking like you want to go down in the immediate terms. So yeah, let's look at MATIC too, since we've got the ribbon up. I feel bad for everybody watching Polygon. You might not you might have ended the video if you were just here for Polygon, so you might not see this part, but you can see it in the 4-hour. You tried to flip it, you had it. It was almost a flip, dude, and it was a fake out. It was a false cross. It was technically just a real strong wind up, and then boom, you were just starting the expansion. So yeah, you're just getting started with MATIC going down. Looking like it wants to cross as well or consolidate, but who knows? But yeah. Yep. You probably move back down into your weekly ribbon. That's fine. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys. If you liked the video, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you all for coming. I will see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.